Hi everyone, Big Pauly back for another video. Yes, and this video is my top 10 movies of 2018. Last year. Yeah, last year. Let's do the countdown. Okay, before we get going, there are some notable exclusions from the top 10. Basically because it's a top 10 and there's more than 10 really good films. So Coco, in the UK that was released in 2018, whereas in the States it was released 2017, I believe. Hereditary, which was a really good horror movie. Black Panther, another fantastic marvellous movie. Deadpool 2, I know some of you are thinking, what the hell, all of these should be in your top 10. First Man, the story of Neil Armstrong's race to the moon, and Tomb Raider with Alicia Vikander. Okay, yes, the only reason they are outside of the top 10 is because these 10 movies are my preferred and favourite movies of the year. Shall we get going? Oh yes, right, okay. Number 10. Number 10 is a film that never hit UK cinemas. Went straight to Netflix. Stars Natalie Portman. Annihilation. I really loved this film. The mystery, the intrigue. In a way, it kind of reminded me of that TV series. Was it Stephen King series, Under the Dome? Where this massive, mysterious dome comes down, cutting off everything from the outside world. And this group of soldiers have to go inside. And they get confronted with all sorts of weird shit. All sorts of weird creatures and deformed or evolved creatures. And yeah, it's really good. I really did enjoy it. And the final scene at the end with the lighthouse is classic sci-fi. It's classic sci-fi. So I really enjoyed that. I have got Annihilation on 4K, which was sent to me from the US. It's not out in the UK until about April on 4K. So that is my number 10. Number 9 is a return to the Wizarding World. It is Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald. I thought you'd like that. Yes, loved the first movie. Absolutely adored the first movie with characters with Newt Scamander and all of these lovely characters, Queenie, and fantastic story. I didn't think that we'd get a really good continuation of this Wizarding World after Harry Potter. But J.K. Rowling has constructed this beautiful storyline. And this one revolves around Gellert Grindelwald, played brilliantly by Johnny Depp, doing only what Johnny Depp can do. And I didn't see it in 3D. I'd love to have seen it in 3D, but there are some of these shots when they're flying at the beginning with the carriage and the creatures, the horses and all that. And I reckon that probably would have looked really good in 3D. So I'm hoping to get the 3D edition of when this comes out. And it's going to look fantastic here in this little back bedroom. But I really liked what they did with Fantastic Beasts 2. A lot of people didn't like it. They preferred the first film. And I must admit, yes, I do prefer Fantastic Beasts over the second film. But it's still a great film and definitely on my list, my top 10 list. Number 8, I Must Break You. That was a really bad Russian accent. But Dolph Lundgren says it better. Creed 2. The return of the Rocky franchise. Creed was a brilliant movie. Looking at the script, looking at the story, you wouldn't have thought that it had worked. Oh no, they're going to just stretch out the Rocky franchise into this unknown territory. But no, it evolved and it created this brand new, hopefully long-running franchise based on this character that we knew nothing about. All we knew was his dad, Apollo Creed. And Rocky IV is a very corny, bubblegummy film. It's 80s, it's total 80s. I mean, you've got training montages to 80s music. You've got Russians, Soviet Union in pristine outfits, flying the flag and all that kind of shit. It's total 80s stuff. But it's a great film. I love Rocky IV. And Creed 2 was fantastic. It's great to have Michael B. Jordan back doing this brilliant role. And to bring in Sylvester Stallone again, although he didn't have as big a role as he did in the first film, but it's always great to see Sly back as Rocky Balboa. Dolph Lundgren, wow. When I first heard that they were including Dolph Lundgren in this story, yeah, I almost lost it. And they brought in also this other wrestler or boxer, I can't remember his name, that played Victor Drago. And he played it really well. He didn't have a lot of dialogue, but he played it really well. So yes, I really enjoyed Creed 2. Number 7 on my list is a franchise that I never would have thought would have been this far down on a list. That's only because there are so many more good films above it. Number 7 is Solo, a Star Wars story. Yes, I love it. A lot of people love it. A lot of people hate it. A lot of people boycotted it after The Last Jedi, which I had no problems with Last Jedi. I really enjoyed The Last Jedi. There's a few things that maybe could have been changed, but this was released way too soon. We had The Last Jedi in like December. Solo came out around about April time. 6 months. No. 2018, Christmas 2018 was the first time that we hadn't had a Star Wars film in about 3 years. 3 or 4 years. They should have released Solo in December. It would have had a better reception. And maybe a lot of people would have sort of like forgotten about the bad rap from The Last Jedi. They did a wrong move releasing that so early. It was a good film. It was a really good film. Alden Ehrenreich did a fantastic job playing Han Solo. It was an impossible task trying to find someone. I mean, I always wanted Anthony Gruber to play Han Solo, but as soon as this bloke, Alden Ehrenreich, started playing his character, it took a little while to get used to, about 15 or 20 minutes, but he carried the movie right through. And I can very happily go into another film with this character, with this actor playing Harrison Ford's role. It was the introduction of Chewie as well, the Chewie and the Han relationship. A very nice little touch at the end of the movie with a cameo from one of the prequels. And it got a bad rap. It was a very dark film, film-wise, you know. It was supposed to look very gritty and very dirty and dark, that kind of thing. Not one of these big glossed-up prequels. It did work, and Donald Glover, absolutely fantastic as Lando Calrissian. L337, I loved. A lot of people didn't like that droid, but I loved that droid. So yes, Solo, a Star Wars story, number 7 in my list. Number 6 is a very quiet movie. In fact, there's so little dialogue that they might not bother to have in the script. A Quiet Place. Absolutely floored by this movie. All I knew before going in to see this, it was a film about this family of people in this kind of like Mad Max Walking Dead type world where everybody's dead and, you know, end of the world type of thing, where you cannot make a noise. If you make a noise, something will get you. And it was played out brilliantly from start to finish. There's a tragedy near the beginning of the film. Yes, and this movie was played out brilliantly by husband and wife team, John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. Fantastic. And there were some real tense moments. It's the kind of moments you're like, for instance, the scene when she's walking down the stairs and there's a nail sticking out of the stairs. Holy shit. And also the pregnancy. My God, I don't know how anybody could have actually did that without making a peep. It was nice to see these creatures as well. We didn't get a full blown up front image of these aliens and these creatures, but what they showed of them was just enough. We didn't need to see too much, but it was a very tense, beautiful, beautiful movie. I haven't actually listened to the Dolby Atmos soundtrack yet, so that will be really interesting to see what that's like. So that was my number 6 of this year, or last year rather. Number 5, and I don't know, some people will say this should be higher up your list, and compare with how I ranked this film, how I rated it, yes it should be, but there are bigger films above it. It's the DC's entry into the underwater world. That's right, it's Aquaman. Aquaman, a film about a human fish. Jason Momoa, born to play the role of Aquaman. Loved the special effects on the movie. It's absolutely gorgeous to look at. It's very, very colourful, kind of Avatar-ish, but it's its own movie. Great characters. Nicole Kidman. Dolph Lundgren is actually in it as well. So many other different actors. Great roles. There was a little bit of dodgy CG at the beginning of for his dad, for Arthur Curry's dad, Jason Momoa, played by Tamora Morrison, that was Jango Fett. Bit of de-aging. It wasn't exactly perfect, but well, after seeing Henry Cavill's top lip, I can live with that. So yes, Aquaman was a great film. A bit of a surprise in the DC universe as well, because the last one they did, Justice League, wasn't that good. They had some great characters in Justice League, and some of the story was good, but it was just a bit of a mess. Okay, so we're on to the top 4. Right, top 4. Number 4, you've got to do a bit of this while running. That's right. It's Mission Impossible Fallout. An absolute corker of an action movie. One of the best action movies in the last decade. And these films, as they go on, like the Fast and Furious films, are supposed to get worse. But they don't. One after the other. They just keep getting better and better. And I am absolutely amazed at how successful these films are after 6, 7 films, and that they're still going stronger than ever. And that's a testament to the cast and the crew and the love behind it. And there were some great moments, there were some fantastic moments in Mission Impossible Fallout, including poor old Tom Cruise's rooftop injury, which every time I watch it, I still go, ouch. But there are some great scenes with the helicopter. Oh, fantastic. And the transition does change to the IMAX scenes every now and again, but it doesn't take away from, you know, the beauty of the movie. It's such a great action film. My buddy Lewis went to see it at the IMAX in London in 3D. Probably the only time he's ever going to get to see it in 3D. And he says the 3D was absolutely jaw-dropping, stunning. especially the helicopter scenes. So I am a bit piffed that it was never released in 3D outside of maybe a few places, and also that we didn't get a 3D home release. Maybe one day, who knows, but I would love to have seen it in 3D, but it still remains a bloody corker of an action film. Okay, number 3 on my list takes me right back to the 80s. Steven Spielberg at his best once more. Ready Player One. Absolute loved this movie. From the opening trailers with the DeLorean, my God, I was hooked. I didn't know anything about the books, never read the books, but the whole look of it, futuristic, the CG, God, King Kong, all of these characters, Iron Giant, RoboCop, Chucky, it's Chucky. Not that I'm a fan of the Chucky movies, but you know these characters, Freddy Krueger. It's the way that he embraced all of these childhood classic characters and scenes and wrapped them all up and put them all in this film. As I say, I'm not familiar with the book, but the look of this film was amazing. The soundtrack, oh my God, the soundtrack was absolutely fantastic, and it's absolutely perfect for this movie. The photorealistic capture of these characters is absolutely fantastic, absolutely brilliant. You know they're not supposed to look proper, they're not supposed to look human when they're inside this virtual world. And you accept it because it's supposed to be inside a virtual world. So you can't say, oh, that doesn't quite look like him. No, it's absolutely perfect. And there was one hilarious scene, the Clark Kent glasses scene. He just puts on a pair of glasses. All of a sudden, all his hair goes back Clark Kent style, suit and a tie. Absolutely fantastic. Love that movie. Okay, so we are on to my favourite 2 movies of 2018. This was a task. This was a job, because for me personally, both these films are as good as each other. But it was a matter of what did I get out of number 1, the more of what I didn't get out of number 2. Number 2 on my list. That's right. Bohemian Rhapsody. I can't believe I just did that. Yes, the story of Queen, the story of Freddie Mercury's rise, right up to Live Aid. That is an incredible movie. Absolutely fantastic movie. Maybe not so much if you're not into Queen or you have never followed Queen. But if you like Queen, you're a fan of Queen, you followed them. God, brings back so many memories, so many musical memories. The casting of this movie was genius. Yes, I know Sacha Baron Cohen was originally supposed to be playing Freddie Mercury, but he pulled out because of creative differences with Brian May. Rami Malek, you god. There is nobody on this earth that could have played Freddie Mercury like that. Sometimes in these scenes I had to do a double take. This literally was a movie starring Freddie Mercury. It's that good. It's that good a performance. And I don't know if the Oscars have been announced yet, but my God, this man should win Best Oscar for this year. It's a great film. It's a great soundtrack. I love the little bits with Freddie's personal life. They didn't go too much into his background outside of Queen, because it's a biopic. It's a biopic of Queen and of Freddie Mercury. So it's about the musical career. The supporting cast. I can't quite remember the name of the bloke. He plays Roger Taylor. He was in EastEnders. He played Ian Beale's son. He did a really good job. Joseph Mazzello, who played John Deacon, he played the role so good. He was so good in this film. And even when they show the film, the scenes at the end, the Live Aid scenes, it looks like John Deacon, his mannerism. Yes, so Joseph Mazzello, absolutely fantastic. Nailed this role of John Deacon perfectly. I can't remember his name, the bloke who played Brian May, but holy crap. Like Rami Malek, no one else could have played that role. Amazing, absolutely amazing. And I read once that when part of the film was played back to Anita Dobson, who's Brian May's wife, she cried. It is perfect. He is the perfect casting as Brian May. This film was just so good. So good. And when I went to see it at the cinema, okay, it wasn't a packed cinema. There was maybe less than 10 people. But when it got to the Live Aid scenes, nearly everybody was on their feet dancing. And I had a little tear coming down. My God, such an emotional movie. I loved it. So what is my number one? Really, there is only number one in 2018. And it was a marvellous movie. Avengers Infinity War. A culmination of 10 years of the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, bringing together all these characters of Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Black Panther. The list goes on. The list will just take so long. To get all of these characters, all of these separate franchise characters, to get them all on screen at the same time, to all give them their own screen time, and for not one person to overshadow another, was genius. The Russo brothers did an absolutely unbelievable job in making this movie. There was so much action. My God, was there so much action. And Josh Brolin as Thanos. Holy crap. That character will go down in history as one of the greatest on-screen villains. But he played it so perfectly. So perfectly. I would watch an entire Thanos movie. And I would love to just watch an entire Thanos movie. It's bringing in all these other characters as well. Some of them we didn't get to see. Ant-Man, Hawkeye. But we've got Avengers Endgame coming up. And that is going to be an absolute corker. But yes, the whole construction of this movie from start to finish, the music was amazing, the special effects were flawless, the character interaction, flawless. And can we talk about that ending? Wow, okay. That alone will go down in cinema history. I've never been in a cinema for a long time where it was packed and you could hear a piece of popcorn landing on the floor, all above the sniffing, the sobbing, the gasps. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. They nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. And Avengers Infinity War is a film that I could just watch time after time. So, yes. So, I hope you enjoyed my little countdown of my top 10 favourite movies of 2018. As I say, there were some notable exceptions. There are other films that were released in 2018 that didn't get on my list that I also really enjoyed. It's just that when you do a top 10, you're kind of stuck when there's like 50 good films out. But they are the 10 films that affected me the most and I enjoyed the most, or on an emotional level affected me the most of last year. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Like it by giving it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video, which will be my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2019.